Social media has increasingly become our dominant context of discourse, of conversation. And the technology that we use for our conversations and discourse will have an immense impact upon the sort of discourse that we'll have. Michael Sakassis has made a very perceptive remark about the way in which print differs from social media. In the era of print, one of the effects has been to separate the voice of the author from the author themselves, and from the passions and the intensity that you'll have in a context of personal discourse. It presents the word as something that can stand more by itself in a context where it's inert. You invite the book into your life. You pick up the book and you read the book in the privacy of your own library, for instance. And in that context, you're taking in the ideas and processing the ideas. And those ideas don't have the same force that they would have in personal conversation. Within the solitude of your reading, you have more time to weigh them and consider them, not to feel so threatened by them. They're not such an immediate assault upon your consciousness. Yet, in the context of conversation, ideas can be far more threatening. Ideas come in the context of personal antagonisms, for instance, in the context of the rivalry and the combative character of a verbal interaction and sparring. When we have a conversation, we're often thinking about how we are positioning ourselves in relationship. When you're reading a book, for the most part, you're reading an author that is either far away, distant in time, probably dead, and you don't feel their presence in the same manner. On social media, words, as Michael Sakassis observes, are no longer so inert. And so the question that we have when we're reading words on social media is not merely what does this statement mean, but what is the author doing with this statement? What are they signaling? What is the subtext, or rather the subtweet? How are they trying to relate to others, to position themselves to others, to signal about themselves? Are they trying to signal that they are above the fray, that they are one of the third way, neither left nor right? Are they trying to signal that they are people of justice, people who are committed to opposing racism, for instance? Are they committed to projecting an image of being able to see through the above-it-allness of the people who are the middle way, trying to recognize that we need to take a strong stand, we need to stick with each other and be loyal to each other in a context where people are being cancelled? All of these things can be the subtext beneath the statements that we are saying. And as we are speaking to each other, so often we can become preoccupied with the subtext to the occlusion and forgetfulness of the actual things that are being spoken. It can be difficult to think about what's being spoken because we're so preoccupied with what people are doing with their words. And it's natural to ask those questions. People do things with their words. Very many of our words are not designed to inform people. They're not designed merely to serve the surface purpose of giving people propositional information. Often they're designed as means of connection, as means of signaling where we stand, as means of distancing ourselves from some people, of means of commenting upon something without actually saying things explicitly. As we have a conversation about the weather, for instance, we are seldom simply talking about the weather. We're trying to connect with each other, to form a bond, to have some sort of rapport, a bridge, initial bridge, upon which we can build a more substantial interaction in the future. That purpose of conversation as a lively way of connecting people together, of sharing the things that we have in common, and of providing a context within which we can share other things, can often be forgotten if we're just in solitude reading the book. And yet the power of the book is that it enables us to stand back from the fray, to think in a more principial way about ideas on their own terms, to think about the ways in which things that are said can stand apart from the speakers that are saying them. The challenge of discourse is also one in which we are so preoccupied with the presence of the rival or the person we're trying to persuade, or the presence of the person that we're wanting to signal some sort of loyalty to, that we can become neglectful of the importance of the words that we are saying themselves and of the pursuit of truth. Stepping back from the immediacy of those contexts enables us to deal with things in themselves.